Hi, third grade. Today is Wednesday, May 13th of 2020, and it is day 3 of your packet number 5. So I will be going over all of your tasks from today. We'll get right to it. Your first task was we're going to view this in full screen mode so you can see the whole thing. Circle the words in each row that do not have a prefix. Explain to someone how you knew which words to select. And if you have the packet, you should have had this prefix chart as part of your packet. I moved it over to this page just so that we could use it while we're doing this. Remember, for a word to be a word that has a prefix, it needs to have a standalone word without the prefix, meaning the prefix is added to a word that's already a word. The prefix can't just be added to a bunch of letters to make a word. It has to be added to a word that's a word by itself, and it makes a new meaning in a new word. Also, the prefix and the base word have to go together to form the new meaning. So sometimes you might see a word that starts with the same letters as a prefix, but it's not necessarily a prefix because that with the root word doesn't make a new meaning. Okay, so your first row had the prefix RE, and RE is re, and it means again, to do something again. So your words were refer, redo, reroute. Refer is not a word with a prefix because the word FER, that's not a word. So those are just 3 letters that happen to go after RE. So that's just a word that happens to begin with RE, but it doesn't have a prefix per se. And then redo means to do again, so that is a word with a prefix. And reroute means to route again or to go over a route again. So that is also a word with a prefix. Your next set of words had the prefix PRE, pre, which means before. So preview, present, prepaid. Preview does have a prefix. If the word preview means to view before or to watch before. So for example, when you see a movie preview on TV, it's showing you things about the movie before you actually watch it. Your next word was present. That also is spelled as present. Either way, it's not a word with a prefix. PRE is a prefix and SENT is a standalone word, but together it doesn't mean sent before. So that's why that's not a word with a prefix. It just happens to be a word that starts with PRE. And then you have prepaid, which means you paid before, such as you prepaid for a vacation, you would have paid before you left. And then you have the UN prefix. So you have UN means not. So you have under, unlike, unfit. Under does not mean not der. DER is not a standalone word, so under is not a word with a prefix. Unlike does mean not like. So unlike is a word with a prefix, and unfit does mean not fit. So that is also a word with a prefix. Your final row was misfit, misshape, missing. These words use the MIS prefix, which means not. So misfit means not fit or you don't fit in. So that is a word with a prefix. Misshape means not shape. So you might have something that's in a certain shape and then it gets misshapen and it's no longer in that shape. So that is a word with a prefix. And then missing. Although MIS is a prefix and SING is a word by itself, kind of like present earlier, missing does not mean not seeing. So those 2 words together aren't a word with a prefix. Okay, so next you had reading. The first thing it asked you to do is read or ask someone to read to you the nonfiction article, Take Care of Our Planet. And then if technology is available, watch a video clip And as you read and listen, you are to make a list of the things that can be recycled or used another way. So I'm first going to read the article, and then I'm going to show the video, and then we'll talk about the list. So let's get to the article first. Let's see. Okay, so take care of our planet. Keep Earth clean. You can help solve the trash problem. Our trash is piling up. Each American throws away an average of about 4.5 pounds every day. That adds up to more than 1,600 pounds of trash per person every year. The trash includes bottles, cans, boxes, paper, tires, and much more. Much of it ends up in landfills. Those are places where people dump trash. April 22nd is Earth Day. This day reminds people to take care of the earth. People can help by following the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce. You can reduce the amount of trash you throw away. Reduce means to make less. Here are some ways to make less trash. So you can use less paper by writing on both sides of each sheet. Instead of throwing away old toys and clothes, you can sell or donate them. And if you buy something, instead of asking for a paper or plastic bag, bring your own cloth bag. Recycle. You can recycle. When something is recycled, it is made into something new. Here are some items that can be taken to a recycling center: cardboard, aluminum cans, paper, certain plastics, glass bottles, or newspaper. And finally, reuse. You can try to reuse things before you throw them in the trash. Reuse means to use again. There's that prefix, re. Here are some examples. Use an old t-shirt as a desk cloth. After opening a gift, save the wrapping paper and use it again. Make an art project using odds and ends such as string, bottle caps, and scraps of paper. All right, so we are going to watch the Newport News, the video clip, and then we will go over the list.
Thank you, Newport News residents, for all you do in helping us be a leader in recycling and recovery. The Newport News Public Works Department is dedicated to educating and encouraging a culture of reducing, reusing, and recycling. Recycling is an investment in the future of our city. Recycling saves valuable natural resources and preserves land by reducing the need to create more landfills. Household items that you consider trash have value. It just takes a few extra minutes to do it right, but the results are worth it. All you need is a recycling container, available free from Public Works, and to put all the right things in it. Here are your recycling do's and don'ts. Do put in your recycling container paper and cardboard, bottles and jugs, jars and tubs, cans, and foil products. Please make sure all containers are empty and rinsed. Don't put in your recycling container styrofoam, clothing and shoes, wood or yard waste. Recycling containers are picked up curbside on a schedule with additional drop-off points available. For more information on what items are accepted and not, check online or call 311 for pickup schedules and answers to your other recycling questions. You can make a difference in Newport News. Recycle today.
Okay. So, said as you read and listen to the video, make a list of the things that can be recycled or used in another way. I just made a list of a few examples, and I will read those to you. So I chose items that could be recycled or reused. I did bottles and jugs, and Those can be recycled, but if you can't recycle them, they can be reused as vases for flowers. They can hold other liquids. For example, if you have to water the flowers, you might use an old bottle or jug to put the water in to water the flowers with. My next one was cardboard boxes. You can use those for storage, moving, arts and crafts projects. Old containers, butter containers, sour cream containers, things like that. Peanut butter is another good one. You can use those for holding leftovers or storage for other items such as small things like Legos or hair clips or things like that. And then finally, paper, whether it's newspaper, regular paper, you can save it and reuse it as scrap paper or for arts and crafts projects. Some other ones that they mentioned in the article that I didn't put in my list that I thought were great ideas. Reusing your old toys and clothes by giving them to charity or to Goodwill or to the thrift store when you're done with them instead of throwing them away. Bringing your own bags to the grocery store is another good way to reduce the amount of trash being used, because you can reuse those bags instead of throwing them away. And another one is using a towel to dry off your hands instead of paper towels. That's a big one for me because I see a lot of people waste a lot of paper towels drying their hands off, and especially in today's world, you can just save your paper towels by using a towel. Okay, so you were asked to draw a poster or write a list of those things and hang it up somewhere. So here's my poster. It just says recycle. It has pictures of different things that can be recycled. Water bottle, aluminum cans, metal pans, Coke cans, milk jugs, cardboard boxes, newspapers. So different things on there that can be recycled. Okay, so now you had a math problem. It says, look at the problem below. You need to figure out two numbers that when added together equal 8,415. Now, some of you may have done this the easy way and just said, oh, well, 8,414 plus 1 equals 8,415, or 8,000 plus 415 equals 8,415. But another way you could do it is just to choose any random number that is less than 8,415. So that's what I chose to do. And I just did 2,345 because it's 2,345 and it's lower than 8,415. So I did that, and I'm going to use the pen. We'll just do that. Okay. So I'm going to use my pen and we're going to do the math problem together. Now remember, whenever you have multi-digit math problems, addition or subtraction, you should start at the ones place. So my top number tells me how many I have, and my bottom number tells me how many I'm subtracting away from that. So I have 5 and I'm subtracting 5. I can do that because I have enough, but I'm not left with any afterwards. So I'm left with 0. Now my tens place, I have 1 and I'm taking 4 away. So that I cannot do because I only have 1 and I need 4. So I need to find another way to get more tens so that I can take 4 away. So in order to do that, excuse me, I need to borrow from my neighbor, the hundreds. So I'm going to borrow 100 from the hundreds place. They had 4, they're going to be left with 3 after giving me 1. So my tens place had 1, and then they're taking 100 In 100, you have 10 tens. So I already had 1, and I'm adding 10 more to it. So now I have 11. And I'm taking 4 away from that. So I'm left with 7. Then my hundreds place, I have 3 left now, and I'm taking 3 away. So I'm left with 0. And in my thousands, I have 8, and I'm taking 2 away. So I'm left with 6. Now I can check this by adding. I can check my math by taking these 2 bottom numbers, moving them over, and adding them together to see if I get 8,415 as my answer. So 5 plus 0, remember I'm going to start in the ones place. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 4 is 11, but I can only put 1 digit down here. So I have to put the digit that's in the ones place, 11, down here. And then the other 10, it's 10 10, so it can be converted into a 100. So 3 plus 1 equals 4. And then 6 plus 2 equals 8. So if I compare my 2 answers, those are correct. So now I can go back and I can say, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it neat enough, that 2,345 plus 6,070 equals 8,415, because I just proved that right there. And you could do that with any random number as long as it's less than 8,415, so that it can be subtracted from that. So any number you choose, as long as you go back and check your math, and then that over there will give you the answer. Okay. Now the other part it asked you to do was to write a sentence about how you figured out the answer. Now I wrote 2 sentences. I said, in order to figure out the answer, I chose a number lower than 8,415 and subtracted it. Using my knowledge of fact families, I then added that same number and the difference to get 8,415. So remember, my difference was 6,070. So using what I know about fact families, that these 3 numbers are a fact family, I added the 2 smaller ones to get the larger one, which was the difference in the random number. Okay, now the next thing you were to do is to make a poster or a drawing convincing people to stop polluting the water. It asked you to reference this article, so I went ahead and brought it over, and I'm just going to reread it before I show you the drawing that I made. So it says, causes of water pollution. A major threat to our water supply is water pollution. Water pollution reduces the amount of clean water available for us and other living things to use. There are many sources of water pollution in our neighborhoods, school, and communities. Landfills are one source. A landfill is where trash is taken to be disposed of in the ground. Chemicals and other liquids can leak into the groundwater, causing pollution. This makes water unsafe to drink and use. Animals can become sick and die. Fertilizer. Fertilizer is a chemical that people use to make their grass and plants grow better. Farmers can use fertilizer to help crops grow. Sometimes fertilizer leak into the ground and mix with the groundwater. This causes water pollution. Pesticides. Pesticides are chemicals sprayed on the ground or in the air to kill insects like mosquitoes and gnats. It can leak into freshwater rivers and streams. Pesticides are poisonous to fish, so when it leaks into the water, it's really bad. Littering's a big one. Tossing trash outside instead of placing it in a trash can pollute water. Trash can wash into streams, lakes, and rivers. This will cause the water to become polluted. It makes the water unsafe to swim, and fish can become sick. Oil and gas. Other liquids like oil and gas can leak into waterways. The oil and gas can come from boats, jet skis, or ships. The oil pollutes rivers and streams. This can make animals very sick. And then cars. Cars is another big one. Cars can leak oil and gas in driveways and parking lots. When it rains, the runoff water washes the leaked oil and gas into streams and rivers. Again, this pollutes the water for us and animals. So those are 6 big causes of water pollution, and then you were supposed to use those to make a drawing. So here's one. I'll confess I didn't draw this. I found this, but I think it's a great representation. Other than cars, it's got the plants over here you see that are causing. I'm guessing these are landfills. They're causing water pollution. You've got what looks like oil spilling over here. You've got trash being dumped. You've got litter. You've got trash in the water. So lots of different examples here of water pollution and what it's doing to our water. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. Remember, guys, turn in your work. You can't get in the drawing for the KFC if your work's not turned in by Monday of the following week, because that's when they need those names. So get that work turned in. Remember, we're not grading for correctness. We're grading whether or not it's turned in. So if you get a few wrong, don't stress. Just turn it in anyway. All right, guys, you're still doing a great job. We're so proud of you, and I will see you all again soon. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye, 3rd grade.